her priest, her pastor, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government telling her what's in her best interest.
Well, this is a long healing process for this family. And we thank you, and we hope that by being amongst people who heard you and heard your daughter's story will be meaningful you in this journey to healing. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, I want to also, thank you. I want to hear from Star Walker, who is a campaign engagement organizer in Milwaukee, one of my hometowns, Milwaukee. Hi, Star, what's going on in Wisconsin?
Hi, Oprah. Hi, Madam Vice President. We are fired up here in Wisconsin. I'm an engagement organizer, so I work with within their personal networks as friends, family, teammates. Yeah, and by empowering people to leverage their relationships, we amplify their voices and deliver progress. We're fired up, but we also know it's a razor-thin race. So just like in 2020, this is going to be won by a field margin. It's on us to roll up our sleeves and do the work. Let's make phone calls and knock on doors. Go to go.kamalaharris.com to join this people-powered movement. That way, when we look back, we won't just be remembering how we felt, we'll be remembering what we did.
Woo! I love that. I love that. Y'all, I love that. That's a big takeaway because we're all feeling really good right now. But what really matters is what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Thank you so much, Star.
Not just what are we going to do about this election. How about what we going to do about everything else? That's all I'm saying. What we going to do about everything else? I don't know if y'all know, but we still got these cases going on here. Not just with Pdidhe, but we got cases going on with Donald Trump. Not to mention that there's a situation where Pdidhe and Donald Trump are both involved in a situation. I'm just saying. They know each other. And I mean know each other. They have been running together in the same circles for years. So has Oprah Winfrey. She's been running in these circles too. So has some of these other presidential candidates and first ladies. So we just not gonna pay no attention to that. I guess that don't matter. Or maybe we're gonna deal with the election first and then deal with stuff. Mind you, so much can happen in between now and the election. So much can still happen because we still have a whole nother month in between this election and now. I am an advocate for change, but I'm also an advocate for bringing resolution so we don't have to do this again.
Thank you so much, Tracy Ellis Ross. Thank you so much. So another important issue this election is, of course, our safety. And just 2 weeks ago, our country experienced yet another horrific school shooting. Watch this.
10:30 a.m. at Robb Elementary in Uvalde. The school is recognizing my 10-year-old daughter, Lexi, for receiving all A's. 30 minutes later, a gunman murders her, 18 classmates and 2 teachers.
In the last 25 years, there have been 417 school shootings in the United States, and more than 383,000 students have experienced gun violence while at school.
More children and adolescents are killed by guns each year than anything else nationwide.
Just 2 weeks ago, Appalachia High School in Winder, Georgia, became the latest area to face every parent's worst nightmare.
Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air, the deadly high school shooting. 2 students and 2 teachers killed. Police and parents racing to the scene outside Atlanta.
Oh my goodness. There is a shooting at my granddaughter's school.
We had to drag our teacher's body into the classroom. We heard him take his last breath.
We live in a country where 383,000 children have been exposed to gun violence. Now just sit with that number for a second. It's a number until it's your child. This is not normal, y'all.
Yep.
This is not normal, and this is not right. Other people in other countries do not have this issue. We, Americans, we have to do better. We have to do better. We cannot continue to just settle for our thoughts and prayers. Lives are being destroyed. 15-year-old Natalie Griffith and her parents, Doug and Marilda, are here. And Natalie, we are so sorry to know that you too have been added to that number because you were in algebra class when you were shot twice by a 14-year-old fellow student. We're so glad that you lived to tell your story. And so how are you tonight?
Well, before that thing, the video, I was very happy. I still am very happy to be here and to tell my story and what happened, because it was a terrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it should not have, what's it called?
Where were you shot? Where were you
I was
physically shot?
Right here on my shoulder and then around here, right wrist.
I was saying
my
that
wrist.
383,000 students in our country, the United States of America, have been exposed to violence. That same scene that you experienced in your school. Had you all been having, drills or preparation for what should happen? Should there be a shooting?
I've had intruder drills and fire drills and stuff. In my old schools, we've had a fire drill at Appalachia, but it was the first 2 months of the school year. We hadn't had an intruder drill yet, so we weren't even completely sure where to go in the classroom. We all just, I remember being huddled.
So I was watching your mother, even just when that tape was coming on. It's still very much PTSD, very much traumatic. You're still reliving it. And how has it been for you? How were you notified that there was a shooting at the school?
I was notified by a friend. She called me. I was at work. And she called me and she said, "Do you know about the shooting?" Which with the school that she goes to, the Appalachia. I said, "No, I don't." And then she said there was a shooting at the Appalachia High School. My heart just dropped and my heart just got so heavy and I could not stop. I had to leave. I told my coworkers I gotta go, I have to leave. And my first thing I did is drop my knee on the floor and just start praying. I prayed for about 30 minutes from my work all the way to the school. I didn't get to the school on my car. I had to leave my car at a gas station about 2.5, 3 miles. And I walked on foot and I ran because my heart was so heavy. I couldn't get to touch with my daughter.
And I hear you have a message for people in power regarding guns now.
I do. I want to finish that story because no parent should go through this. I want to just finish what, the experience. You do not know what feels until it's you.
Yes.
All those numbers that you show on the TV, a lot of people, they're here are mothers. What are we doing about this? What are we doing? Let's make sure that everybody listens. Let's make sure that everybody hears it. The whole world needs to hear that we women that have our children, we have a job. That job is to protect our children. That job is to protect our nation. That job is to protect our country. We cannot leave. We cannot let that go on. We have to stop it. I was asking earlier, where are those people? All the other shooting, where are they? They needed to make a noise. I'm ready to make a noise about this and I'm ready to stop it because no one knows what it feels when you can't find your child, when you call her just not answering. When I went through it, it's just me that knows it. And I'm so sorry for those that lost their child actually died. I can actually hug my child. My child is here and I gave all this praise to the Lord. Our Father in heaven saved my child. But the other two mothers, they lost their kids and the other teachers that died. Those people are suffering like I'm suffering. I'm very sorry for them. I'm very sorry that they lost their loved ones.
And you have a message for the people in power.
Yes, the people in power. Let's make it a change. Let's make it happen. Let's just not hear about this. Who wants to just hear about this? We gotta change it. We gotta make it happen.
And Doug, I hear you're not a registered Democrat, but you now say it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on when it comes to this issue. What change do you want to see now that it has affected your family?
Common sense.
Yeah. I think that Doug has said it so eloquently, which is we just need to apply common sense. And look, I think for far too long on the issue of gun violence, some people have been pushing a really false choice to suggest you're either in favor of the Second Amendment or you want to take everyone's guns away. I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. And I'm in favor of assault weapons bans, universal background checks, red flag laws. And these are just common sense. These are just common
I
sense.
thought it was so powerful at the convention when you said you have guns. No, at the debate. At the debate.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If
And I thought
somebody
that was
breaks in my house, they're getting shot. Sorry.
Yes, I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
But
my staff will deal with that later.
Yeah. But you have been a gun owner for a while.
Yes, I have.
Yes.
But here's my point, Oprah, is that I'm not trying to take everyone's guns away. I believe in the Second Amendment, but we have to agree that, look, I did last fall a college tour with college-age young people, so I also did trade schools, and packed audience every time in their auditorium, and I would ask, please raise your hand if at any point between kindergarten and 12th grade you had to endure an active shooter drill. Almost every hand went up. It was bone chilling.
Yeah, this is the way our kids are living.
Chilling.
Yeah.
And think about it. I grew up, we had fire drills only. Well, I grew up in California, we also had earthquake drills. But the fact that our children are sitting in a classroom where they should be fulfilling their God-given potential and exploring the wonders of the world, and some part of their brain realizes somebody could bust through that classroom door with a weapon, with an assault weapon. And let's all agree that the trauma, so many children, even those who have not directly experienced the tragedy.
Just being in the environment. I cannot
tell you the number of young people who, our kids had active shooter drills. They're concerned that there might be somebody who would kill them while they are at school. This is not the sign of a civil society, and it doesn't have to be this way. It does not have to be this way. But we need to have the courage to act. Look, my opponent, when he was told and knew about a shooting of a young girl, you know what he said? Get over it. Get over it. No, we're not getting over it. No, and to the point, everyone should have a sense of collective responsibility for the children of our community.
Yes.
And understand their right to live and be safe. I have personally prosecuted homicide cases. I know, I've seen autopsies. I've seen what these weapons do to the human body. And we've got to agree that, in particular, when we're talking about something like an assault weapon, it's literally designed to be a tool of war. It has no place on the streets of a civil society. It's designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly. And there are things we can do. Thankfully, over the last 3 years, we've done some, but it is common sense.
It just seems like common sense we would see this.
I
think that the majority of Americans agree with you that we do not want assault weapons in the hands of children and other people who have no business with those types of weapons.
Right.
We know this is true. So we thank you, Natalie, and your family for being here. And good luck in that marching band this year. I hear you're going to go out for the marching band still.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, it's a sad moment for us, but I wanted to make sure that, we came because we needed to be heard and we needed to, change has to be made, and we're ready to fight for this.
Meryl Streep, hello. You and I. Hi, Meryl Streep. You and I talked about this moment.
Hi.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling about the momentum?
Oh man, this has been overwhelming to have the privilege to sit in and listen to the testimony of the people here. Hello, President Harris.
47 days.
47 days, yes.
From my mouth to God's ear. And hello, Oprah.
No.
I think the word of the day has been preventable. Preventable. All of this, the surround of hatred and venom and toxicity and encouraging some segment of Americans to hate other segment of Americans. It's just crazy, and nobody wants it. We're done. We're done with it. I wanted to ask you, I can't believe I had this opportunity. I probably never will again. If I have a little Debbie Downer moment, because actually, I think you're going to win. I'm sure you're going to win. Yeah. But what happens when you win?
Yeah.
And he doesn't accept it.
Mhm.
And you know that there's going to be this long slog of shenanigans. And I'm wondering how we get to that moment, how we preserve certification on January 6th. Because if it doesn't happen, it'll be maybe thrown back to the legislatures of the states. And I've been working with state government citizens campaign, which is sgcamerica.com. So they're great. They're doing the unglamorous down ballot work of promoting those candidates, because I'm worried about it, and I wonder if we're ready for January 7th, 8th, 9th, and what happens? What happens?
So we will be ready, but just taking a step back, and thank you, Marilyn, for the gift that you give, your talent, your creativity. Thank you for being here. One of the things that I have realized in the course of our campaign is that more Americans than we may realize who voted for Trump before have decided January 6th was just a bridge too far. When we reflect and think about what January 6th was, that was a bridge too far for a lot of people. And we have sadly now seen how far he could go. And I think there is absolutely no tolerance whatsoever for the vast majority of Americans for that. And they've seen the lies. They understand, for example, almost every court case, I think every court case where he's challenged an election, he lost. I said on the debate stage, look, because he's having a very difficult time, obviously, processing the fact that 81 million people fired him, right? But, so there is that it really was a bridge too far for so many people that they are not willing to repeat. But the other piece of it is the lawyers are working. It's very important that we all speak to our friends and our neighbors about misinformation and help them now see how it occurs, where it is occurring. It is important that we stand up for the integrity of poll workers and people who are working on election day. And that we also, and this is critically important, that we ask people to be alert about mis and disinformation, and we ask them, do not be afraid to vote. Because I think there is also something quite insidious about these attacks on the electorate in these various forms that are intended to convince people that their vote won't matter. And in that way, there's a little bit of reverse psychology going on here, and let's just make sure nobody falls for it. Your vote does matter, and we cannot let anyone ever take our power from us. We can never let anybody silence us. And when we get those votes out, starting soon, early voting is already going to start this week, I think, through November 5th. And let's make sure everyone votes. And we are going to have a good election day. We're going to fight for the integrity of the people's voice and for our democracy. People around the world are watching right now. Because you see, the thing about walking into a room and being a role model is people watch what you do to see if it lines up with what you say. And in that way, the consequences of this election are directly going to impact the American people and people around the world. That's what we're fighting for, and those are the stakes. And that's why we're going to win, because we know what we're fighting for, because we know what we stand for.
Thank you, Meryl. So, thank you, Meryl. What is on your heart to say to the American people as we have 47 days until November 5th? What's on your heart? To say to particularly those people who are still undecided, or maybe indifferent, or on the fence still?
We love our country. I love our country. I know we all do. That's why everybody's here right now. We love our country. We take pride in the privilege of being American. And this is a moment where we can and must come together as Americans, understanding we have so much more in common than what separates us. Let's come together with the character that we are so proud of about who we are, which is we are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being, because the people before us understood that one of the greatest expressions for the love of our country, one of the greatest expressions of patriotism, is to fight for the ideals of who we are, which includes freedom to make decisions about your own body, freedom to be safe from gun violence, freedom to have access to the ballot box, freedom to be who you are and just be, to love who you love openly and with pride, freedom to just be. And that's who we are. We believe in all that. And so this is a moment where we stand knowing what we are fighting for. We're not fighting against. It's what we're fighting for.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Vice President. Thank you. And I want to say,
so now I see why people are like, she didn't go into a lot of her policy, like to curtail. I heard her say about adding the Border Patrol agents. I heard her say about giving the $50,000 tax credit to small businesses. I heard her say the $25,000 assistance with buying a new home. She said she's going to take on price gouging to kind of curtail some of these high prices that we have to pay for goods. I want y'all to understand that it is okay to vote for a candidate, but it's not okay to not follow through with that candidate and the party that you decide to elect. You need to follow through with it. Because I am a firm believer that if you put your livelihood in the hands of other people, then you are entrusting them with how your lifestyle is managed. That's what you're doing. That's what you have entrusted these people that you elect to do. That's what you do. That's what you do when you vote. Because they're supposed to be up in Congress managing the country. So if you elect her, just understand that it's still important for her to follow through on what she's saying. Like, don't get caught up in the hype. I agree with that. Don't get caught up in the hype. Because now she's going to have even more, what seems like even more people watching. I just find it interesting that she does not have the vote of all Black Americans. She does not. She still does not. So this is going to be interesting to see. I don't really know what they expect from out of this election. I just don't know what they expect. But this does not change how I feel at all about Oprah Winfrey. At all. And anybody who she's affiliated with, she runs in circles with, her name has been attached to, I'm sorry, but there's a question mark by your name as well. Because like they said, what these ladies represent looks good. But it's what they're not representing to you that you need to be concerned about. especially if they have a hand in being the driving force behind your freedoms. But I guess we're gonna find out. I didn't really get a lot out of this video, except for when the mothers were talking. When the mothers were talking, I was listening. Because those things are important. Abortion, of course, and our children. Again, both women issues. I'm not saying that the children are not the father's issues, but both of these are women issues. I don't know what to say, y'all. I don't know what to say because none of the elites are sitting too well with me, because many of them, you don't know where they stand privately, and their public image has been tainted. So I'm sorry, but I cannot trust people like this. Not even their money. I cannot. Because I really feel like it's a breach of trust when you are advocating, you're advocating for the very same people that you're taking advantage of. I have a problem with that. I really do. I really feel like this election is a way to keep us focused on something other than the courts right now. I think we need to be paying attention to both. I think we really need to be paying attention to both right now. We need to be at a place where anybody is subject to justice. It does not matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your status is. We need to get to a place where if you have violated the law of this land directly or indirectly, you still have to be accountable for that. That's where we need to get as a country. It should not matter how much money you have and how much of a presence you've made in society. Like, all of that could be to throw a blanket over what you're really doing. All of that. If you're putting it out in the public that this is what you're known for, this is the type of work you do, this is what you believe in. When you show up looking this way to seem more than likely, to give the appearance that who's paying attention to what you're doing outside of that? These are the types of people who could have never allowed what they're covering up to be in the public, because then they would look like hypocrites. I'm sorry to tell you, but a lot of them are hypocrites. They will tell you what they need to tell you to sell you. And then after they get you, here comes the bullshit. You know, I'm not here to sway anybody. Either way, how you vote is how you vote. Who you vote for and the purpose behind it is on you. But what I am saying is that if whoever you elect, you need to hold accountable. You need to hold them accountable and their party. Because you're not just electing a president, you are electing a party. So it's not Democrat and Republic. It's one party. You need to be paying attention to what's going on in Congress. They're the ones who really run the country. The president may be there to sign whatever that she needs to sign or he needs to sign into law. But the ones who are really pulling the strings are the members of Congress. That's who's pulling the strings. And I'm going to say it like this. People in government need you to need them. What happens when you don't need them anymore? I mean, I'm going to keep saying that I believe that the system, the way it is not meant for you to be independent. It's not meant for everybody to have their own name. It's meant for you to struggle. They don't want everybody to have their own name or make a name for themselves. That is not it, no matter what they're telling you. Because if you're doing it by yourself, where you don't need their assistance, then what happens to their position? What happens when you no longer need them? So the government needs you to need them. They want you to rely on them. They have to appease to you so that you'll keep putting your trust in them, to allow them to control your lifestyle, to allow them to manage your lifestyles. That is what the government system is about. Mm-hmm. That is what it's about. I don't I don't subscribe to that. I don't want them doing anything for me. But you don't know what you don't know. That's what I would tell you. You don't know what you don't know. But they know what you don't know. And all I'm saying is, when truth comes out, and it's not what you expected, you need to stand on your choices. However that may make you feel, you still need to stand on your choices, your decisions. That saying that all that glitters is not gold, that's true. It is not. But a lot of these people understand that if you create the illusion that you can, that those who aspire to those illusions will back you. They will follow you. I can't tell you how many times I have been restricted from my choice to do things my way. Because my way was not like everyone else's. They didn't want me doing it my way. My way was not like everybody else's. So I got treated differently. I now understand why that is. I'm not meant to be a conformist. I'm not meant to conform to anybody's anything. And now I'm fine with that. Absolutely. Where I used to scratch my head about that all the time. I don't do that shit no more. I no longer want to. I realize that I'm not a sheep and I cannot be controlled. I now understand that that's why I did not fit in. That's why I had to take my own route, do my own thing, do things in my way, and not do something because the crowd is doing it. I cannot. That does not work for me. It has never worked for me. And I have tried. And the reason why I understand now is because I'm not meant to conform. I'm not meant to do this shit. You cannot advertise to me or appease to me simply by what you say to me. You cannot. I can tell you that I did not feel a bit of the way I was in here about to cry, holding back tears, eyes all watery, when these ladies were talking about their kids. I noticed that Kamala did not cry at all. And neither did Oprah. Oprah didn't cry either. It's interesting to me. Maybe it's a situation where neither one of these people are biological mothers, so they may not understand that. That could be a situation where they don't understand that, but it's just very interesting to me that they're women, but they could not connect to these parents. They know that the parents are sad. They know the parents are struggling with what happened, but it's like I didn't get that they know, they really understand why. I wasn't getting that from either one of these ladies. So maybe it's a situation where if you're not a biological mother, it just may not hit you the same. And then it could also be that maybe you're a woman who's just not easily emotionally aroused or triggered as well. I think that the reason why this election is going to be so close and continues to be so close is because there are a lot of people who still do not trust Kamala Harris. They do not. And I'm sorry, I just cannot look past the fact that this election is going on during a year where they're about to take down one of the biggest music moguls in the business. And he's been connected to all of these other people. So what happens if we elect Kamala Harris? Or maybe I should say you guys, because I would not be voting. When you guys elect Kamala Harris and the types of changes that come about do not live up to the hype that's being given right now, what happens? I want to know as a country, what happens? What happens if there is a strategic move behind Kamala Harris becoming president for the Democratic Party? Where if you are backing a presidential candidate that actually ends up winning the election, then if anything negative was to come about in the future behind or for these people that gave this presidential candidate backing, maybe somehow, some way, the outcome for them would be more favorable. And I have to be particular about how I word things. I have to, because I know what I'm getting at, but everybody else might not know what I'm getting at. But the ones that's working on the same wavelength understand where I'm going with this. Kamala has already shown that she could be one for the team. And if I am mistaken, she's a sorority member. She's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. So we definitely know you a team member. And we definitely know you can keep a secret. I just find it interesting that all this time, Kamala Harris has just been in the background. When Joe Biden was, or, you know, he's still president, but whenever Joe Biden would be about doing his business for the presidency, you would see her, but she wasn't really relevant. Nobody was really talking about her and what she was doing. She wasn't making a whole lot of noise. And no one really knew anything about her. Like, she was there, but she, okay, what significant was it that she did? So because of this, nobody really knowing anything about her. She's not making a whole lot of noise. She's pretty quiet. She does as she's told. She could also have been someone who, let me look at something real quick, y'all. Because I'm paying attention to this candidate. Even when she was talking to the people, I was paying attention to her mannerisms, her characteristics, the stuff she was saying. I was paying attention to all of that. She knows what it's like to be hurt for being different. She knows what it's like to be hurt to be isolated. to be put in a box. She knows what that's like. She does know what that's like. So I can see why Kamala didn't cry. Now I see why she didn't cry, because if that's not the emotion that she's feeling, you're not going to get that reaction from her. But Kamala Harris is a Libra. She's a Libra, but her sun is in opposition to her moon. This is interesting. Where her ego is able to relate to many people's issues. She can relate to many people. I gotta look at some other stuff, but y'all, that's what I had to say about Kamala and Oprah Winfrey. I need to move on. I'm just telling y'all to be vigilant, pay attention to both of these situations going on right now with the election and the judicial branch.